welcome. Before I dive in, I just want to ask you, if you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up as well. For all of you, I'd really appreciate it. Now, Auston Matthews signs a 4-year, $13.25 million AAV. No clauses in his contract yet. He's going to be 26 in September. As a Leaf fan, how do I feel about this? I'm fine with it. Just fine, though. I mean, I was hoping for at least 5 years, maybe even 6, and like a hair under $13 million. But I think I'm more upset about his first contract and how that was only 5 years. And although I like Kyle Dubas and what he did here, there's those short-termish deals with Marner and Nylander and Matthews really irked me. And I know, yeah, people say he overspent and everything, but who expected COVID, right? I mean, if there was no COVID, the Leafs wouldn't be in nearly sort of the amount of restraint that they have to hold when it comes to dishing out the dollar signs to their big stars, especially when the top 4 or 5 are all forwards, right? I mean, he'll be in decline after, this takes him to about the age of 31, so it covers his prime year, so you can't really complain too much about that. And if they're going to win a cup, it's got to be within the next 3-4 years. Shouldn't it? But then you look at Alexander Ovechkin, and, he didn't win it till he was, I want to say like 32 years old? So it took that many playoff disappointment and, slaps on the hand to say, hey, start playing a little bit of defense here and there, please. For things finally to start to click about, how much sweat you got to put in, blood and tears and all that jazz, right? So hopefully it doesn't take that long for, Matthews and the rest of them. But I still would have loved 8. The rest of the league seems to be able to sign 8-year contracts, but I understand why, from a player perspective, Matthews did only 4 years, because it maximizes his next contract, right? When the cap will be much higher in 5 years' time, in order for him to make more and more money. I kind of feel like Nathan McKinnon's agent sort of let him down on that one. I mean, the money's fine, obviously, but the term, maybe you should have gotten for 4 or 5. But if you're a player who's worried about, getting your next injury, and yeah, I know there's things about, Matthews' wrists, every other year there seems to be a problem with it, or maybe his back. And that's always going to be, a cloud looming over every player's head. But if you're going to bet on yourself and your health, and you want to try and maximize the amount of money, and he started off making over $11 million anyway, why not just take it to 4 and try to maximize his next contract? And that way, maybe the team might be in a rebuilding mode by then. And they may want to go a different direction, or they might want to sign him for another, maybe by then he'll want an 8-year contract, right? So, and he might even get it from somebody. Maybe the Leafs. I don't know. In any case, that's my 2 cents. I'm fine with it. I'm not thrilled. I'll give Brad Treliving a B. Next up, let's talk about Evan Bouchard. He signs a 2-year deal at $3.9 AAV with the Edmonton Oilers. He turns 24 in October. No clauses on that. No clauses on any of the contracts I'm going to talk about yet, by the way. And I think this is a good deal for the Oilers, money-wise. I mean, the kid really seemed to explode after Alcombe entered town. They melded really well together. He became, a beast in terms of the power play and putting up points and everything. I mean, maybe the Oilers might kick themselves later for not signing him to a longer deal worth a bit more. Like, why not go $6 million AAV in 8 years and take a bit of a risk with this kid? Because, they could be looking really good at the end of it. But that's nitpicking. 2 years, whatever, 3.9. It fits in their budget. Who knows if Holland's going to be there after next season, right? Yeah. I'm going to grade this one a B+. Moving on, let's talk about Alexis Lafreniere signing with the New York Rangers at 2 years with an AAV of $2.325 million. He'll be 22 in October. I know the kid hasn't really, come out of his shell yet, but he's shown signs. Not so much in the playoffs, right? I think he had like 0 points in 7 games or whatever it was. But that third line seems to have a lot of chemistry, especially, with Heindl and Kako. They got a new coach coming in. He seems to want to give this kid more minutes than he's ever had before, which I think he averaged 15 last season, his most so far. And he's still so young. You got to give him at least another 2-3 years, really, to blossom. So I sort of like this deal for both clubs. I mean, a decent third liner should be making around that anyways. So I'll give this one, what else are you going to give it? A B. I know that's kind of boring, but whatever. Last one I want to talk about here is Brandon Hagel signing with the Tampa Bay Lightning, an 8-year deal at $6.5 million AAV. He's going to be 25 on August 27th, just a few days more of the filming of this video. I'm going to give this one an A. The kid's going to be 25 shortly. It's going to take him to he's about 33 years old. He put up 30 goals, 64 points last year in 81 games. In the season before that, he put up 25 goals between Chicago and Tampa Bay. In the playoffs, he seems pretty decent as well. 5 points in 6 games with these last one. In 23 games with Tampa the season before that, he had only 6 points. But that's an improvement, this past season that is. And I think he's good for at least 25 goals per season, at least for another 5 years. So at $6 million, he should be putting up at least 60 points, give or take as well. I think this is a good risk to take for Tampa, especially like the Leafs, how they're so close to the cap and blah, blah, blah. And he's willing to sign that kind of a deal. I like it. I like it. An A. There you have it. I'd love to hear from you what you think of these signings down in the comments section below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. And if you'd like to support me and the channel, you can do that through my crowdfunding page called Buy Me a Coffee. You'll see a link down below or just on my home page. Thanks again, and see you soon.